Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and welcome to Unturned 3.8.9. Now I'm here in the menu screen because in today's update, everything in terms of UI was revamped, including the title screen, the in-game UI, the in-game inventory, the in-game crafting UI, information UI, all that stuff has been redone and looking pretty sweet. I personally believe there are some improvements that are a lot better than others, but we're going to go over all of them in this video so that way we can all get a general opinion on this new UI, because it is a massive change. But starting with the title screen, we now have some new camera angles for all of these different sections that we go in the main menu. So when you're not selected with anything, it'll kind of have an overview shot of this whole living room showing your character, and then when you go into play, it will go over to this door over here saying like, oh, go out the door, that's where you're going to go play. You go into survivors, it kind of zooms in on your character, and then you can go in an appearance and mess around with him that way. Or you can go into configuration, which just shows this wall, and then there's workshop, which shows the two windows over here. Now this actual setting is going to be changed in the future. This is just placeholder, but it's kind of showing that we now have different camera angles for each of these different sections, just like it was in Unturned 2.0. Everything in terms of the buttons and all this stuff is the same for right now, but I think Nelson is planning on changing it in the future. When you refresh the server list, you can now choose to sort it by name for alphabetical, like this. So we've got the symbols up at the top, and then it goes to A to Z down at the very bottom. Or you can sort it by players. So now we have all the full servers right here, or all of the... Well, looks like everything's full. Are you serious? Why is everyone... Oh, never mind. Wait, why was it not... Wait a second. Seems like it's having trouble sorting. I'm not sure what's going on there, but... Anyway, it's supposed to be able to sort by players, and then you can also sort by ping. Anyway, you're no longer tied to having ping up at the top. You can choose players in alphabetical to help you find certain servers easily, or find empty servers easily, stuff like that. Now, when we head into the actual game itself, this is where we get to see all of the massive changes to the UI. Immediately when you hop in, let me change the time to day, we now have all of the stuff in a line down at the bottom, like what it was when Unturned 3.0 first came out, except now it's got like really thick bars for these information bars, like the health and food and thirst and all that stuff. I don't know if I like it. I personally prefer it back over in the corner. Maybe because it was compact. I don't know. It just feels big. I don't know. That's just my opinion on the UI down there. But when it comes to the inventory system, I like this a lot more. I think it would be awesome if we could have this inventory system and then all the bars down there in the bottom corner. But when it comes to this, I like it a lot. So immediately we have like a bigger character. He's a lot easier to see. all the clothing and stuff like that. The primary weapon slot and the secondary weapon slot has been moved down to the bottom, whereas before it was up at the top. And then we also have all of this stuff over to the right, except it's all outlined in a big outline to kind of make it all compact. And then if you want to swap between the menus, before it had them up at the top, and now it's kind of moved to an icon thing down at the left. So we have like all the different crafting types, which, well, I guess I do have some barricade things. I can make a generator like this, of which, by the way, you now need a fuel can to make. And then also looks like I don't have anything else, but it's all been moved to an icon system rather than a word system. And then we have the skill screen laid out the same as it was before. It's just now in this like square form. And then we have the information thing, which is once again kind of laid out the same. It's just in the same outline. It's very compact and I like it a lot. My only suggestion is, like, now that we have the bars down at the bottom in like one single bar, I think Nelson should keep those information bars down at the bottom still there when you open up your inventories, and that way you can figure out whether or not you need to drink something or eat something just by looking down at that bar. So whereas before it was kind of a chunk in the bottom corner and it wouldn't look symmetrical to have it open at the same time as this inventory, but now that it's just a single bar at the bottom, I think it'd be kind of cool to have that stuff down there open as well when you have this open. And other than that, that's pretty much everything in terms of this. If you want to drag stuff, you now have to drag it by left clicking it, so you just click on it once, and then you can drag it around. Also, it shows the outline around the item, so it's a lot easier to figure out which boxes it's going to land in. Also, the durability stays with it as well. And then when you right-click it, it kind of pops up this little information window to where you can drop it or equip it, and then it also tells you the stuff about it. And then also you can choose which items you want to pair to a hotkey. So automatically the primary and secondary weapon slots give the hotkey 1 and 2, but you can program 3 and 4 and 5, and I don't know how many it goes to, but you can program those by right-clicking it and pressing 3, and now it pops up a 3 there, whereas before it would automatically choose for you, like it would choose the top ones in your inventory to give you like the hotkeys 3 through 4 and stuff like that. But now you just right-click an item. Let's say you want the number 4 to be paired to the Timberwolf. Alright, looks like it's not working. Maybe this grenade? Yeah, I guess you can do 3 and 4 there. Can you do 5? What about 4 on this one? Alright, it seems to be a bit buggy because it just cleared the 4 on that one, but it's not giving... I don't know, that'll be maybe fixed in the future, but as of right now, essentially what it's supposed to do is you're supposed to right-click an item and press numbers 3 through whatever in order to pair it to a number on your keyboard, and then you can easily select it without having to go through your inventory. I think it would be super nice for like several weapons to be able to have the Maple Strike set to hotkey number 1 and then had the Timberwolf be set to hotkey number 3, so that way you can quickly swap between those. But anyway, that will probably be fixed in the future, and that should pretty much cover everything in terms of that. Also, when you first start the game, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but now there's a loading screen when you're loading Unturned, whereas before it just wouldn't, the game wouldn't pop up for like 5 or so seconds. So now when you first start up Unturned, it'll have a little loading screen there, so that way you at least know that it's doing something or it's not like glitching or something. Also, the reason why I have 2 vehicles here is because now there is a little bar. When you look at the car, it tells you like the amount of fuel that's inside of it, so you no longer need to like quickly go inside and see that that's at 13% and this is at 26%. It just pops up there and you can look at them to see the fuel. Also, when you are inside a vehicle, the fuel is now up at the top right rather than, I think before it was just in the bottom middle. But anyway, it's up at the top right. And also when you equip a weapon, the ammo and all that stuff is up in the top right. And safety just pops up in the middle. Supposedly Nelson did some work to the recoil system. He said that the recoil is now manageable for medium range bursts, but challenging at longer ranges. So I'm just gonna use my imagination to guess or assume that that's a zombie, a little medium range burst. And that is kind of nice. I mean, it seems like it's pretty manageable for medium range, but like it's still like long range. Yeah, it's just kind of, it starts with less recoil, but it begins to intensify. So I mean, if you're bursting it, you can get pretty on target. So yeah, I'd say that was pretty noticeable. He also improved the transition between the attachments interface and the regular UI. I think that's just like everything kind of swooping down. Not a really big change, but you know, it was an improvement. In terms of tweaks, he tweaked the spawn rate of handsaws and Alice packs, so it is a bit easier to find those items, including the Alice pack as well. He also tweaked the scope offset to be a bit further away, and luckily I have a scope here. Doesn't seem terribly different. I don't know. Anyway, it was just a tweak, and then in addition to that, there were tons and tons and tons of fixes, most of them pretty minor, but if you guys like to check out all of those, I will put the full update post in the description down below. The major thing in this update is obviously the new UI, so I think you guys should comment down below your guys' thoughts on this, because it's a pretty big change, so comment your guys' thoughts and suggestions and all that stuff down below. But anyway, that is all I have for now for the Unturned 3.8.9.0 update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.